my beautiful, amazing, crafty people. This is Diana from Creative Captivity, and today I have a bookmark. Well, actually, two bookmarks, but the other one's kind of quite simple. Um, I have this mark that has a glass dome that we're gonna make today, along with the stick or I don't know divider thing that goes inside the book. And I've made a few templates. Well, not a few, but I made all the templates from the what we're gonna do today, and I've put them together in a sheet of paper, and I'm gonna offer that sheet of paper in the document. Well, I'm gonna try and see how I can put it on the Facebook, on my Facebook on Creative Creativity. You guys find the link on the bottom of the description of this video, and you guys I'm gonna put this paper with all the templates of everything that I'm gonna be using and showing you guys today. You guys can also find these butterflies templates. All those inside lines are inner cuts, so we'll just call them inner cuts. And what I did is I transferred it to this template paper or template media that I found on Walmart. And I'm gonna eventually cut them out. I'm just showing you guys how I did it before I cut them out, since I didn't need all of them. I didn't put too much trouble into it, but there you guys can see how the package comes with all the template media. And right now we're gonna start with the inner dome and how it's done. In the template, you guys will see that there's another circle that it's bigger than the actual. Well, it's not circle, the oval, than the actual oval on the bookmark itself. And I cut that shape up, and I used one of those Tim Holtz butterflies from ephemera. And I just follow the simple instructions on the box of this resin. Is pretty much 1-to-1 ratio. I also bought these little cups that came with the spoons, and they're not necessary, but they make the job easy because they have the measurements. But then you could also use a droppler, and you go by drops, maybe 3 drops by and 3 drops of one and 3 drops of the other one. In any case, this cups made it a little easier. So once you've poured exactly the 1-to-1 ratio from part A and part B, you have to mix the resin really well. You got to mix it. I think the box says for 2 minutes, and it's a 2-minute non-stop. You just got to keep on stirring it. So once I have my acetate and my butterfly, I join them together with the same acrylic, and I smear it around, make sure that it's glued, because you don't want a separation between your acetate and the butterfly once you've poured the acrylic on top of it. So once I make sure I have the butterfly where I want it to go on the dome and on the bookmark, I pour in my acrylic on top of the acetate. Now, this is the magic. The acrylic will not overflow over the rim of the acetate. It will actually stay in place, and it will make a dome effect. It's actually a technique that they use to make the stickers. Like when you guys see the stickers that have the acrylic on top of it, or the little doming acrylic, this is how they do it. They just make a lot of stickers. They cut them out, and then once they're cut out, they have big machines in injecting like the same exact amount of acrylic over the stickers. And since I had a lot of leftover, I thought I made a little bit, but apparently I had like so much left over. I grabbed another chipboard butterfly from Tim Holtz ephemera, and I poured it over that. And I also grabbed another fairy wings from that same collection where the butterfly came from, and I domed that as well. And make sure you heat it. You hit it with the heat gun, because that's going to take away all those bubbles you created while you were mixing the solutions. And now I have a little metal ring, and it's a rusty. I call them rusties. And I tried to see some of that. Now I overflowed on that because it doesn't have a rim on the inner part, since it came off something I had built in the backyard. It overflowed, and I just picked it up from that spot, cleaned it up from the bottom, and put it somewhere clean, and it came out perfect. So I have my templates here, and I'm transferring them to my chipboard. And once I transferred it to my chipboard, then I cut them out. Once I have it all cut out, from the inside and the outside, I make sure that my dome is grabbing onto a little bit of the oval on the bookmark. That's why I made that's why I made two different shapes in that template sheet, because you want to have two different sizes so that it grabs just a little bit on the oval of the bookmark. And you won't be able to really see it once you've done with all the steps. But my first color is a darker green. I got these at Walmart. I think it's apple barrel, and these are great to play with colors, and I have a bunch of them, and I'm able to find the darker and then the lighter, and I painted one coat of this color. I think is enough to cover this whole bookmark. Once I have it covered with my first color, I grab pumice stone media, and I apply some of it. I don't apply it in all of it, and I apply it here and there to provide texture on my bookmark. I don't put a lot because remember it's going to go in between your papers. So I just put it there, and when I get to my second color, then I move it around a little bit. It takes like overnight to dry, and right now I'm just going to let it dry a little bit while I do this next step. For the next step, on the trim of the dome, I'm going to use lace, and this lace I got it at the 99-cent store, and I cut it in half because I'm only going to use the top part. I use black heavy gesso to make a good cover, and I use this brush that allows me to really go in there in all the detail and get it all painted black. And I did both sides. And then I painted a lighter green, another coat, and I kind of brushed it on, not really applying a good cover, but just for texture. And I paint all my texture as well that color. And since the texture was a little wet, I managed to move it around a little bit more, so it's not as high mountains, so it doesn't damage the book as much. To glue the lace down on the dome, I use cold silicone. If I were to use hot silicone like the little gun, I feel like it would warp my dome, and I feel like it would damage the dome. So I use that same silicone to glue the lace and to glue the dome onto my bookmark. Meanwhile, the dome and the bookmark dries, I'm going to do a smaller or simpler bookmark. I start off by cutting my butterfly template on my vellum, and these are the inside of the butterfly. Those little cutout inserts are to be lifted and given to give the butterfly a 3D-dimensional sort of movement to the wing. Once we're done fussy cutting the butterfly, it's time to do the inside of the butterfly. Now you're going to cut the inner parts just by three sides. You're going to leave it attached by the side that doesn't have a pencil line, and then you're going to leave that attached. Now you could also attach it by deattach it by another line, or play with that idea or the cutout. And then once you're done with that, it's time to paint it. I use a lighter color to paint the inside of the butterfly and a darker color to paint the tips, including the tips of the cutouts. For my next step, I'm going to curl my butterfly tips. Now I'm going to use the tool as if it was a ribbon. I don't know if you guys ever have curled a ribbon, but I curled the tips of the butterfly down, and then the inside of the wing the opposite way. So it gives that butterfly wing a curve. So it goes kind of from in and down and then up, so that it gives you the 3D dimension. Now, this point you decide how big or how much out you want to pull out the inner cuts from the butterfly out. And after that, I use my template to cut out my leaf. I'm using a green cardstock. Once I'm done cutting it out, I erase all my pencil marks and I go back with my pencil and draw some veins on my leaf. Um, I then go back after with the same like spatula that I have and mark it like an indentation for the veins. Um, I don't want just a simple leaf, so I put some veins on it. Then I grab my acrylic paint, the dark one that I used before, the dark green, and I kind of dry brush the high tops of or the highs of what I would think the inner parts in between the veins of a leaf would look like. And I just dry brush it. I grab very little paint off the rim of my bottle and kind of brush it in there. I don't put that much. It's just very little. And then I go back later to it and add, don't worry, I'm not just gonna leave it like that. Then I also curl the leaf. I curl it in and out so that it's not just a flat leaf. I mean, although it might get flat once you use it, put it in the book. But I mean, if you're gonna give it to somebody, might as well, you know, make shape it up. And at the tip of the leaf, I curled it a lot, sort of like little um like windies, and then I glue the butterfly on the top fold or curve of that winding of the leaf. You guys can see that it sits on the leaf, on the very tip of the leaf. Then once I'm done with that and give that this dome sticker a little bit of chance to dry, I go back with my knife and I cut the back excess of the lace. To glue it down, I use cold silicone, not hot, because I don't want to mess up the acrylic doming. Next step is to dry brush gold on all the lace and on that texture that I had previously put on there, and also on some of the body of the bookmark. So I grab my black paint and I put water on my mat, and I grab a lot of water with the black. And this is only just to put a little bit of shadows and depthness to my texture. And I don't really want it to be that black, just shadows. So I water the black down a lot. And sometimes I go over more parts than others, but I also use it as shadow on the around the dome and on some parts of the bookmark. I use some of this watered down black to accentuate the veins on my leaf. Now it looks like a lot right now, but once it dries, remember it's mostly water. Once it dries, it'll just give me a tiny little shade or shadow. And there you guys have it. Two bookmarks. One was with the butterfly and a leaf, and the other one was a dome. Now I've used this technique and used a smaller one, a smaller bookmark, and that smaller bookmark is also on that template sheet. Everything that I showed you today is on that sheet, on those two sheets. Thank you guys for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel for more crazy ideas. Thank you guys for watching and have a good day.